Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. Listen to your heart. 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 Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe. 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 Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be.
Yes, people, did you miss me? It's been a long time since we last spoke. For all of you coming over from LB's channel, big up to all of you for the raid, man. Big up Matters Box of Frogs, Adam Quinn from Inable Centurions, Blue Moon, Charlie, Matt Hatter, Joso, Andrew, Jay Claus, Dylan, Base Kirby. Big up to all of you joining from LB's channel, man. This is my channel. For any of you who are new here, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've hit a like on this stream. The Late Night Chat, man, this is my favorite show that I do. We do this regularly, multiple times a week, myself and Joe, chatting about all things City. Just uploaded a sick video the other day as well. Yesterday, the day before, about Savio. Nice edit. Joe did a great job on that. So if you like those kind of style edit sort of videos, check that out, man. Leave a like on it because I want to make more of them. And I really enjoyed it. I think Joe cooked hard. So listen, welcome to all of our new viewers. Hit the like button, people. Let's get up to 50 likes. ASAP Rocky. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're going to chat about City and transfers. And then this week we're going to work our way towards the Community Shield. I might see if he's not busy, if I can get Saeed on for a show, either a video or a stream. I'll see is he around, and we can chat about the Community Shield, a bit about United's transfers and so on and so forth. But listen, let's calm the ham for a sec. Let's stick to the topic at hand. Alvarez to Atletico is imminent by the looks of it, and City have been offered Joao Felix. Plenty to talk about in that sense, and the squad in general, and who we have moving into the season. We talked a bit about it with LB, of course, on his show. We're going to chat about it with Joe here. I want you guys to share your opinions. We're going to get up as many of your messages as possible on screen. Let you guys have your say. Like I said, all I ask is that you hit that thumbs up button, man. Get to 50, get to 100, get to 115. That's the golden number. And there's a link in the chat if anybody wants to be a channel member.
Not the charges.
Yeah, man, 115, prestigious club for prestigious people. Link in the chat for channel memberships. Joe, I know you've seen it all. Regarding Alvarez. I made a video on it the other day. Atletico have now improved their offer for Man City for Julian Alvarez during talks tonight with an official club bid of up to a 75 million euro package. Negotiations are being led by club CEO Gil Marin and Ferran Soriano. It's looking like he's gone. How do you feel about this situation? There's a lot of angles to cover here.
I mean, I'll table the the Joao Felix side of things, because I think that's a whole different conversation. But in terms of just the Alvarez thing, like, I'm the same as I was whenever we last streamed a few days ago. I'm not really, I'm not bothered. I'm really not bothered. If we're going to sell him, it means that someone has met our asking price, which is one major profit, and is for another, is just a squad player. Like, let's be real. He's not good enough to start as a number 9 because we have Haaland. That's number 1. He's not good enough to start as a number 10 because he doesn't have the ability suited to a number 10, and we have so many other players in that position. Like, most of his game time next season would have been in midfield, which, you know, he's not the best at. So I'm okay with losing him so long as the price was right, because regardless of how well he plays, he's still got what? I don't even know, was it 30 GNA? Something 34. Like that last season? 34. There you go, 34, which, I mean, when you add that to, you know, you go back a season, you lose. Mahrez was an easy 20. Easy 20-25, season in, season out. Gundogan was the same. Easy 20-25. They'd combine for like 50 a season. And then we replaced it with Kovacic, Nunes, Doku, who don't match that output. Then you lose Alvarez, who, you know, again, he's a 20-25 normal season when everybody's fit and there's no Kevin De Bruyne out for 6 months and Haaland out for 2 months. He's a 20-25 GNA player consistently. Like, that's what we've got over 2 seasons. So you table that, there's a lot of, you know, coming together that needs to happen, from Savio coming in, Oscar Bob taking up more minutes potentially, Doku having a second-year leap, Grealish staying fit for a season and being able to contribute. Again, you got De Bruyne for the first part of the season as well, so he's not missing 6 months and playing catch-up, and hopefully you have him for the entire season. Like, there has to be a few players that step up in his absence. But in saying that, I think they can. I really don't think it's an issue losing him. I don't think, and I said this the last time we streamed, I'm not pushed about signing an actual attacking replacement. I think if we were to use that money to go and buy a deeper midfield player, I'd be more than happy. I'd be more than happy if we went and did that, because I don't genuinely think that even if we lose Alvarez, there's a desperate need to sign an attacker, because, I mean, we haven't really let one go. Alvarez would be the first, you know, attacker that we let go, and we've signed Savio. So that's kind of one in, one out, which is why I'm not too pushed. I'd rather sign either an 8 that can play a 6 or a 6 that can play an 8. You know, one of them versatile midfielders we've been on about. Whether that's Kimmich, Bruno, I don't really know any others. It really doesn't matter to me as long as we get someone in. Because, I mean, what's the point in selling him if you're not going to use that money? Because we'd be in a major transfer profit after that, because we've already sold loads of young players, you know, going out on loan, and a few other young players are being sold now. Like, we've got so much money to spend. You can't say that there isn't either an obvious hole in the team or, you know, a few names out there that are available to get. And I'm firmly of the belief of, if we're not strengthening, even if we don't lose anyone, we're still weakened, because Arsenal have strengthened massively. They've made signings, and they were the closest team to us last season. Again, he went down to the final day last season, and they've strengthened, and we haven't really. We've brought in Savio, but, you know, Alvarez out, Savio in. Is it a massive boost? Is it a massive improvement? I don't really think so.
Well, that's it. It's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown. Big up Bevo in the chat, man. Good to see you. It's great to do a show with you there. Guys, 140 in the building. We're not even on 50 likes, man. Hit those likes. Get them up nice and early, man. We're growing a great community here. So make sure you're subscribed too. Look, the thing is, I take it on board what everyone's saying about Alvarez, and I've said this a lot. I'm not his biggest fan. I never was. If you're watching this channel for a while, I never looked at him and went, yeah, you're exactly what Pep loves and what we need. He's a traditional striker. You know what I mean? That was being pushed out of position, that was being moved into midfield. He's moved out wide at times. He wants to be a number 9. And I've said I would rather see Bob, Savio, and McAtee, these kind of guys, get minutes shared between them, because that excites me. I like to see our youth get given minutes, and I have a lot of faith in Bob particularly. I'm very excited about Savio. But then my other side of my brain, my more pessimistic side, says, is it fair to put expectation? Is it fair to put demand on these people? Is it fair to expect these guys, these young lads, 20 and 21, Savio and Oscar Bob, is it fair to expect them to come in and fill the hole for that's left behind of a 34 GNA a season player. I'm not too sure, which is why I said on LB's channel, I'd probably feel more comfortable overall if we brought in someone like Danny Olmo, we brought in someone like I don't know, like the main point I made, you know, Joe, was I think this whole situation would be a lot more relaxed if the Lucas Paqueta thing never fell through. You know what I'm saying? Because if we got Lucas Paqueta, there's kind of a replacement for where we've been playing Alvarez, you know, midfield, play out wide. And we saw that if, or Pep felt that with coaching, Paqueta could have played in a deeper role. I would have been relaxed. If we had got Paqueta, I would have been pretty relaxed about the whole situation. I think he would have filled the whole problem. Even Andrew W. Cole Palmer went 1 year too soon. If we kept Cole Palmer, we'd probably be absolutely chilling right now. Whereas now we're looking at, as I said in LB's channel, the fear of the unknown. We're looking at it in a situation whereby, yes, our starting 11 is very, very good, but the law of nature would suggest that we're going to get 1 or 2 major injuries this season. Who they fall to, we don't know. We're praying and hoping it's not a Haaland, a De Bruyne, or a Rodri. If you take 1 or 2 of them out of the team, you're then starting to put players into the team who they're new, they're fresh, they're learning, they're young. Do they deserve, is it fair to put expectation and demand on them? Is it fair to say to Oscar Bob, right, you did decent last season even though you had minimal minutes, but you cooked in pre-season, now we're going to throw you out at the Emirates or Anfield or in the Bernabeu? Same with Savio. You did an amazing job at Girona at 11 goals, 10 assists, third place with Girona. Now you're playing for the aspiring Premier League 5 in a row champions, aspiring chasing our second Champions League. Is it fair to put those demands on him, coming to a new league, new language, new system, new everything? That's where my kind of unrest comes from. If, like, I'm not sitting here saying, you know, I'm shitting myself and we fucked the whole thing up if we don't go and sign someone. I do. Like I said, if Pep says and Pep feels this is the squad I want. This is the squad I want. I don't want any more attackers. I don't want to go and get a Danny Olmo. I don't want to go and get anyone like that. It is what it is. I trust him. He knows what he's at. He's won these leagues. You know, you have to just put full faith in it and put your head down and send it. But just looking from an outside in, you're kind of like, maybe one more, I suppose, Joe, is kind of where I'm feeling it.
Well, and the more and more I think about it, the more and more it's pissing me off, because we were like, because we were like this close. We were like fucking dotting the I's and crossing the T's away from signing Paqueta for 85 million. And suddenly that 85 million has just fucking evaporated and is no longer there. And then we're going to sell Alvarez for, 70, 75 plus add-ons. Like, where is this money going? Because even though Alvarez is pretty much, he's got one foot out the door. Like, he's going to leave. There's been no word of, like, any concrete links to any replacement, whether it be another attacker, whether it be a defensive midfielder, whether it just be a player in general. There's been no links to actually sign anyone. Like, is it just going to be a case of we sell Alvarez and then Tiki just does his searching online for, releaseclauses.com and has a look and goes, oh yeah, we'll get him. Like, is that the plan? Is that the plan to look at? I know Eze's got a release clause and his name's been thrown about a couple of times, but kind of been called nothing more than just agent talk, maybe trying to get him a new contract.
I would like Eze.
Which I'd like Eze as well. Like, I'd take Eze if that's a replacement, because again, if Alvarez was going to play most of his minutes in the 10, so getting in Eze, who is a midfielder, could play out wide, but he's a 10, would suit the need of the squad, and he's got a release clause, so it's fairly easy to get over the line. There'd be, little issues there. But is that really it? Is it just another... It's almost like Nunes. Do you remember Nunes? Where it was almost like a panic. There was no... We didn't want to let Cole Palmer go, but he pushed it. So we were like, shit, we got to find the replacement. And now we're stuck with Nunes. We got Nunes because we couldn't get Paqueta. But again, where's the Paqueta money gone? It's just disappeared. So now we're stuck with Nunes, who we don't actually know what's going on. He didn't go on pre-season, which I was disappointed with, considering he just basically didn't play for a season. And there's no clear indication that he's actually, where he's best. Is he going to get minutes? How many minutes is he going to get? Like, we don't know any of these things. There's been talk of him going to Saudi, and I don't think we've ever been against the idea of selling him. Like, there's no clear plan for him there. So I just, every second I think about it, it just pisses me off more, because it's like, we have the money. I know we have the money, because we were a legal case away from signing a player for 85 million. But it's just disappeared. There's just no links. We're just not signing anyone.
My head tells me we're not going to sign anyone. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if out of nowhere we come up with another Akanji or another Ruben Diaz type player, you know, who no one talked about all summer. No one mentioned their name. They were never linked with us properly. And then out of nowhere, this player arrives at our door and he's a very good player. That's kind of how I look at it. I mean, Pele says in the chat last year you trusted Doku, so why not trust Bob and Savio? It's not that I don't trust Bob and Savio. I mean, I don't think they're fair comparisons. Last year, I don't think the amount of minutes Doku got was planned for him. I don't think Pep planned on playing Doku as much as he did, but through injuries, through illness, through the dropping of form of players like Jack Grealish, etc., Doku found himself irregular for parts of the season, you know? And I don't even think Doku was amazing. And I don't look at Doku and say, because you weren't amazing, you're done. Like I said, I feel the same about Doku that I do, or last summer, about Savio and Bob right now. Young player, cutting their teeth, a lot to learn. I don't think it was fair to put all that responsibility on Doku last year either. So I don't really compare the two. But then again, the way City operate, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and get someone randomly late in the day. But it can be frustrating for us when, you know, if we don't find the right player, if we don't find the player that Pep and Tiki decide is what we need, we're capable of not going for anyone. You know, when you let go of Aguero, you don't sign the replacement for a long time. Let go of Company, you know, we didn't really get a proper replacement until Ruben Diaz arrived. City are capable of being stubborn and I mean, look, we're probably in the best position we probably can be if we're going to be stubborn with Pep Guardiola and our starting 11. But I mean, even with the CDM situation, we're going to talk about Joao Felix in a second, people. But even with the CDM situation, I thought we'd have made a lot more headway on the Rodri backup by now. You know, the guy's injured. He's not going to play on Saturday against Man United. I don't think he's going to play against Chelsea on the opening day if he's nursing an injury and so on and so forth. We don't have an obvious backup. It's probably going to be Kovacic because he played in pre-season. You've got Nico O'Reilly. People are saying, you know, give the keys to him to be the Rodri backup. That's no for me. That's no for me. I think that's totally unfair on Nico O'Reilly to say, you're now Rodri's backup. The guy's what, 18, 19? Has he kicked a competitive ball for Manchester City first team? I'm not too sure. I don't think he has. To tell him you're now Rodri's backup. Wow. I think that's crazy. I think we would have made more headway by now on a Bruno G, on some, I don't know. I know Bruno made a tweet the other day about, you know, he's buzzing to do another season with Newcastle and that, but it's slow. It's hard to really figure out what the game plan is. Like I've already said, if we do decide this is the squad we're going to roll with, it is what it is. You kind of have to roll with the punches and see what happens. But for me, I think there's a little bit of work to be done.
It's a little bit, but it's also a lot considering we're making a fucking meal out of it. Like, it's pretty obvious what we need. It's pretty obvious what we can spend, which is a lot. And it's pretty obvious what the options are as well. Like, let's not kid ourselves. The market is very saturated. Like, I think that's the right way to phrase that. Saturated. Like, either way, the market is not great. Players, manager, it's not saturated. Mate, I'm losing my head. But we know this. Players and managers, there's not a lot of options, is there? You went from Bruno, people shouted Kimmich. Few people were like, that Joao Neves guy went to PSG, had a release clause. Then it was kind of, well, there is really no one else. So we know the options are on the table, and we know what it's going to take to get these players. Bruno had a release clause. Joao Neves had a release clause. But we just didn't act. And now we're in a situation where Joao Neves has gone. Bruno's release clause has expired. Kimmich is staying put for a season. So, where is your option? I'm not having Kovacic as an option. It's not happening because he himself is an injury-prone player and isn't really a 6, he's an 8. You see the assist that he got in pre-season against Barcelona for Grealish's goal came from him driving through the midfield and advancing. That's not a 6. That's an 8. That's his game. Like, Núñez isn't a 6. Again, he's another ball carrier. Nico O'Reilly's not a 6. He might have a big build, he might be tall, but he's not a 6. He's not. I know Pep said he can play there, but that's not his game either. You see the positions he was picking up in pre-season, he was in the box. in and around the edge of the penalty area, tricky feet, getting shots off. We don't actually have a capable, I say a fully capable number 6 to deputise for the first few games of the season. We don't have one. But we had the opportunity to get one.
That's the worrying part. You know what I mean? There's no. I just feel the squad's very thin. And we kind of rest on our laurels a bit by saying, well, Pep likes to work with a thin squad and so on and so forth. I think the squad's thinner than ever. You know, you look at the options we have off the bench compared to kind of what we used to when we used to have a Gundogan, a Mahrez, a Bernardo, you know, Fernandinho, whoever, Zinchenko. We used to have always kind of options off the bench that were kind of trusted and reliable, and you kind of knew what you were getting from them. There's a lot of unknown quantities. There's a lot of grey areas with this Manchester City team right now. You know, the saying that we want to give Bob McAtee and Savio more minutes. I'm on board with it. I'm up for it, but it is a risk. You're taking a big risk, you know, and I think a lot of the hope and resting on our laurels does stem from the neglect of the inevitability of injuries. You know, I just feel like 1, 2, 3 major injuries or patches of injuries at the same time, and this City team really could be in a lot of trouble. If we were to see Rodri and De Bruyne or Rodri and Haaland pick up an injury at the same time, the team's totally different. The team plays different. The team moves different. People saying we're going to play false 9 if Haaland's not around or needs a rest. I get that, and I understand that idea being put forward because we've played false 9 before, but it's over 2 years since we played with a false 9. You know, and the players at the time, if you remember when we signed Haaland, a number of the players spoke about how it took a bit of adaptation to go from playing with a false 9 to playing with an out-and-out striker. You have to change your mindset. You have to change the way you read the game and you view the game. You're asking the players to just switch, you know, flick like a switch to go from Haaland to right. We now have whoever in the false 9, Bernardo, Foden, I don't know, De Bruyne, whoever, Savio. You're asking for a lot there. The squad just seems very thin to me.
Negligence.
We know
it's total negligence, really, if you think about it. This, like, reformed Champions League, more games. Expanded Club World Cup, more games. There's literally more games than there ever has been in recent years. This is the most games that we will potentially ever play in a season. And this is one of the thinnest squads I think we've ever had. A lot of the players that people are mentioning in and around the first team are players who have made a handful of senior appearances. Like, you know, maybe 10 senior appearances, some of them. Like, doesn't fill me with much confidence, really. Like, they might be good players, but it's very much a risk. I'm willing to take a risk with the attacking side of things. Like, more minutes to Bob, Savio, McAtee, Nico O'Reilly even. I'm okay with giving more minutes to them because, go back to last season, goals were not our issue. We scored. A couple of games we didn't score. It was okay, pumped down to a blip. We scored. One of the highest scoring teams in Europe again. What did we not do? Defend. We couldn't keep a clean sheet. We went like 4 or 5 games without keeping a clean sheet at times. We conceded stupid goals at the end of games when it was over because, I don't know, it was just us. We did that. So, you know, defensively was more of our issue last season. And our best player, well, our most important player, is currently injured and might miss the first 3 or 4 games as a holding midfielder. And we haven't got him an able deputy, partner, whatever. Doesn't matter. We don't have one. And that's the most worrying part for me because we can list names that we have to fill in that position, but I listed all the midfielders there. They aren't 6s. I've seen people mention John Stones. He gets injured all the time. He only plays about 25 games.
He's going to get injured this season. Every season he's injured.
Yeah, like he plays 25 games a season. That's not a capable backup for Rodri because, I mean, one, that's not his position. He can play that. He can play very well there. But you get like 30 games a season. If that, like, it's not suitable, which again, that's why when we talk about selling Alvarez, I'm not bothered if we don't sign an attacking replacement, as long as we sign a replacement in midfield. Like, if we sign someone that's deeper, okay. If we sign someone to replace his position, you know, further up, I'm fine with it because we've signed a replacement. But ideally, again, it's a holding midfielder. I don't know how many times we have to say this. Like, I don't get why it just seems like rocket science. It must be, I don't know what's going on in that boardroom, but we've had months to figure out something. There's been players with release clauses, everything. We still haven't done anything. I know we've been waiting to sell to buy, but we've sold loads of young players. You know, we're kind of stuck with a couple of them. Alvarez going should be the sale that unlocks the door to sign someone.
I don't know, man. I would think so. I mean, like, do we have an expected return date for Rodri? I'm not too sure. It might not be the worst thing in the world if you're looking for a Rodri deputy to not have him around for a couple of weeks. Because if we go to Stamford Bridge and don't play well or drop points, the game after, I think, is Ipswich. If we don't play well or drop points, I don't know. It might click the board into gear and go, oh shit, we should probably go and get a backup for this guy. I mean, Keem in the chat says, guys, be serious. Pepe and Cillian never. He will be. Trust to young lads. Yamal is shining for Barca. What makes you doubt Bob and Savio? If Mainu's shining for United, what makes you doubt O'Reilly? Well, first of all, Yamal is a maverick. You know, Yamal is a very, very unique player. 99.9% of young players that come through an academy at his age are not going to be at the level of Lamine Yamal. He's a special talent. And Manu shining for United. What makes you doubt O'Reilly? Manu is in a position where they had to. You know, they had no one else. They had to rely on him, and it worked. But is it fair on Manu to rely on him at 19, 18, 19, 20, whatever he is, to rely on him at Manchester United? Probably not. We never operated like this. City have never done this under Pep Guardiola, where we're saying, right, we're going to put a huge amount of pressure on the young players. You look at the ascend for Phil Foden to becoming what he is right now. Phil Foden was a gradual, incremental development plan of your minutes grew by the season, but we never looked at you and went, you have to carry this season. Until the season just gone by, where he did carry, he did a great job. We never looked at him, or I never looked at him, you could speak for yourself, and said, I need you to be the main man in this team now, or I need you to take on a really serious role. We always just let Foden develop nicely. We let him flourish. The pressure was minimal. We knew the ability he had. He'd play a few games here and there. He'd be taken out for a few games here and there. And that's how you got the article that Foden is now. I don't think it's fair to go, right, well, we're going to do that for Savio, Doku, Bob, McAtee, and O'Reilly now. So there's 5 players. We're going to do all of that on 5 players. We're going to say now all of you have very important roles in this first team. We're challenging for Champions League. We're challenging for Premier League. There's a Club World Cup next June. There's Carabao Cup. There's FA Cup. And there's a Community Shield on Saturday if you give a shit about that. I'm kind of thinking, it's a bit unfair on these lads, because the likelihood is that all 5 aren't ready. One might be. And I'm looking at maybe Bob. Yeah, Bob could be ready to be like, okay, yeah, step up, have your Cole Palmer-esque season where you announce yourself. Of course, still very young, but he could. But to suggest all 5 of those players, I think it's a lot of pressure on the youngsters, I just think if you're going to be giving minutes to these players, you need to complement them with experience, with players with pedigree. Like I said on LB's channel, I'm not saying I desperately want these players, but someone like a Dani Olmo, a Fabian Ruiz, these kind of guys who are older, have experience, you know what you're getting when you put them on the pitch, and they look like City-type players. They're Spanish. They can play with Rodri and blah, 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 blah. That's where I'm coming from. Trust me, people, I'm all for the youth. Trust the youth. Give them chance. Give them opportunity. But it has to be within reason. You can't go overboard, or you're just going to stump the development of these players, Even Rico Lewis. Rico in the treble season, that's where he kind of, we all went, okay, this kid's got something about himself. He scored in that Champions League game. He played well in a number of games. Cancelo threw his toys out of the pram. We went, okay, Rico, yeah. Last season, we didn't really see Rico till February, March. Everyone's like, where's Rico? He comes back towards the kind of running sort of time of the season. Look great. Boom. That's great for Rico. He wasn't overdone. He wasn't overpushed. Now he's another year older. He's more experienced. Maybe he'll get more minutes. We don't know. I just think it has to be slightly gradual with these young players. It just doesn't sit well with me, Joe.
No, and also the comparison between Nico O'Reilly and Mainu is completely off, because again, like you said, Mainu was put in because they had no other options. Casemiro was dusted. The fella was running backwards pretty much. He was gone. Legs are gone.
Let me
was
tell
it
you about
Carragher
Mainu.
said? What
Just to
was it that
cut across you.
Carragher said? What was it that Carragher said? Leave the football before the football leaves you. Casemiro, dusty baller. Anyway, continue.
Just to cut across you at Mainu, we tried to sign Kobe Mainu last summer. Last summer, I think it was. Maybe it's 2 summers ago. We tried to sign him. We went in for him. Didn't happen for whatever reason. I promise you, if we had have got Kobe Mainu, you probably don't really know about him that much right now. He's in that category with Bob, with O'Reilly, with these young players coming through the academy. He's in that bracket of he's got something about him. Let's just wait and see, because we operate differently to Man United. I don't want to operate like Man United. I don't want to be like United, where we're going, okay, we have a great young 18-year-old here. Out you go, win us the Champions League. Also, our expectations, our demands are significantly bigger than Manchester United. What Mainu has to do at Manchester United is not what Mainu would have to do at Manchester City. What Mainu would have to do at Manchester City is, if he's going to get those minutes, you better be challenging for a league, son. You better be challenging for Champions League. Whereas at Man United, it's like, we don't know what the fuck we are. We're still working it out. Ten Hag doesn't even have a style of play. So that's you can't compare Mainu to Bob and O'Reilly. I've a higher ceiling and a higher expectation and a lot more faith, and I'm much more comfortable with the plan that we have for young players than what Man United do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and again, but Man United had no other chance than to throw this guy in, because with Mainu, they needed a guy in that position, because at that time they were ran out of centre backs. Casemiro was playing centre back and getting run ragged, and they had loads of injuries, so he had to come in. He had to play, and again, he got to play his role. He's a holding midfield player. Like, that's his role. He can play an 8 as well, but he's, pivot man. He's a pivot man. Nico O'Reilly, less so. He's more advanced. He wants to be in and around the box. Like that, or at least that's what I saw in pre-season. He's picking up really attacking positions. So that's why he's a different position than Mainu, because Mainu was allowed to shine in his position, play regularly, because they had no other options. With Nico O'Reilly, it'd be him playing in an unfamiliar role, in an unfamiliar system. I know we play similar at all levels, but still, major difference between EDS and first team football with Pep. Jesus Christ, it takes players a season with Pep to kind of get embedded. So to throw him into a role that he's not the most comfortable with, just because we've got a need and go, you're the guy. It takes more development than that. It takes more time.
Look at the amount of players that we've had come through our EDS over the years that we said, get him in the first team, football time, play him. Harwood Bellis, Tommy Doyle, Carlos Borges, the Nemechas. There was loads of them. Liam Delap was the most iconic of them all. The 2020 season, where we lost the league, of course.
He scored one goal.
He scored that goal. It was against Burnley or Bournemouth. It was one or the other. Bournemouth. And we're all going, get him in. He's our striker. Get him in. Make him the number 9. Blah, 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 blah. Now look at him. There's a huge gulf and gap between playing EDS football, or academy level football for those of you who don't have an EDS, and playing first team. There's a huge gap. And to bridge that gap, you need to be really careful, really orchestrated, really calculated with these players to get them to bridge that gap. Most won't bridge that gap. Most won't. Some will. Foden's, Palmer's, maybe Bob, maybe O'Reilly, maybe Savio. Who knows? There's a bridge the gap for Savio too. So it's a lot to say, O'Reilly, you're now Rodri's backup. The kid played as a number 8 for our EDS. Now you're telling me he needs to deputize for the best defensive midfielder in the world. Wow. McAtee, maybe. Mojis, maybe. We'll see. We will see with McAtee.
Well, McAtee's a number 10, so that's even less of an option, really, there. Like, he's a number 10 by trade who can play on the wing. Like, that's another one. Versatile attacker, can play out wide, main position as a 10. Cannot play as a 6. It's completely different position on need. Like, in that pre-season, we had a pivot. We played a midfield pivot. We played a 2. Nico O'Reilly was 1. And then you had, sometimes it was Sissoko, Jacob Wright got a few minutes off the bench. When Kovacic actually, got to the US, he played instead. He was the guy starting next to him, which in pre-season can work because, Kovacic can kind of guide him through pre-season and give him a few tips and, pass some things on. But when it comes to, the regular season, it's different. Different in pre-season. Whole different intensity, whole different, there's more on the line. Teams are going to play different. Teams aren't going to be that open as they were in pre-season. Those pre-season games were good to watch.
That pre-season game we just had with Chelsea, we're going to have a totally different game in the bridge in 2 weeks. A totally different game. I'm not saying we won't beat them. I'm not saying they'll beat us. But we're not going to hit them for 4. You know what I'm saying? Or at least we're not with the ease. We're not going to be 2-0 up in 5 minutes, in my opinion. They're going to set up a lot more pragmatically. They're gonna try and, do what most teams do against this type of thing. The environments are just totally different. I mean, Bob is bridging the gap at the minute. He's in the process of bridging the gap, and he's doing an excellent job. But it's still not right to say, Oscar Bob, go to Anfield. Oscar Bob, go to Emirates. Oscar Bob, go to Bernabeu. We cannot do that right now. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I wouldn't have said that about Phil Foden when he was 20. I wouldn't have said, right. I'd be like, I'm excited to see him if the opportunity comes along. Cool, let's run it. But to say, right, you are that guy when that time comes along isn't fair, in my opinion. So the extra tweet, let me have a look. Guys, hit the like button, man. 170 here. Big up to all of you.
I've got it in front of me if you want me to read it.
Yeah, just 1 sec. Guys, hit the like button, man. Let's get it up to 115 likes. The big number 115. Subscribe if you're new around here. Yeah, go on. What's the tweet?
It's from Cesar Luis Merlo, who is a Argentinian source. His location is Buenos Aires. Saying, breaking. Atletico Madrid have now submitted their final offer to Man City for Julian Alvarez and are optimistic about closing a deal worth 75 million euros plus 15 million euros in add-ons. So a total package of 90 million euros, which is what, like 80 million? 75, 80? Which will be accepted because that's what we're looking for.
City will accept that. He's gone. It's essentially a done deal. You know what? Change the title, Joe, to Alvarez to Atletico. Here we go? ? Because it's coming. It's coming in the next days and hours, or hours and days, as was it? Your man Romano says, hours and days.
In the next few days and weeks.
Yeah, change the title.
Important few days.
Yeah,
yes, mate.
Important few days. Let me have a look at these member chats and super chats. Big up, guys. Keep hitting the like button, man. Agur, member for 4 months, says, I wonder if this guy went to LA. He's wearing the cap. I couldn't actually wear this cap in LA. I wasn't allowed because apparently it made me affiliated to a gang. So now I'm wearing it when I'm here. But yeah, big up to you, Agur, member for 4 months, man. Link in the chat if anybody wants to be a channel member and support myself and Joey Boy. Professional Cheeks Bot, good to see you, my brother, the king of our members. Yeah, always donating, always supporting. You've no idea how much appreciation we have for you over here, King. He says, look, Hugh, if we fail to win any trophies, we have friends we've made along the way. Our academy players will get valuable experience and time they need. You know what? I know he's taking the piss, but at the same time, there shouldn't be major pressure on City this season. And I know we all go, yeah, we can win 5 in a row, but there should not be major pressure and go, City must win the league. City must win the league. We won 4 in a row, man. We won a treble last season. We've destroyed this league for years and years and years. The pressure is on Arsenal. Arsenal, you must. You've done 2 now where you haven't got it over the line. You've pumped 700-800 million into it. Go and fucking win it, mate. Show a bit of mentality, show a bit of bollocks. The pressure is not on Manchester City to win this league. But yet again, I still back us to do it. Man. So, yeah, and we've made lots of friends along the way. I've made friends with you, professional idiot. You know what I mean? I made friends with you. Me and Joe made friends with you and all the great people in the chat. So, you know what I'm saying? Big up to you, professional. You're our king, man. You're our member king around here.
Put the pressure on.
Yeah, what are you saying?
Put the pressure on. Make some friends. It's not about the trophies, it's about the memories and the friends we make. Is that not the memo from Arsenal fans? I mean, I guess I guess we have to talk about Joao Felix eventually, but just before we pivot, you probably answered this on LB's stream because I didn't catch a bit of it. Like, failure if Arteta don't win anything? As I think it is.
Of course it fucking is. Yes, it is. You spend 800 million building a squad. You've won sweet fuck all bar an FA Cup with Unai Emery's squad. You've come close twice. Get it over the line. You have, if Arteta doesn't win the league this season with Arsenal, you have to start asking yourself, maybe he's just not the guy. Maybe he was the guy to get us to challenging. Now we need someone to get us over the line, to go from challengers to winners. Come on, man. I'm not buying into this rubbish from Arsenal fans where it's, oh, well, we're competing with a juggernaut. We're competing with this Manchester City juggernaut. We're competing with Pep Guardiola. City are getting thinner and thinner and weaker by the year. And we're not doing much about it, but we're still collecting trophies. De Bruyne is getting older. He's injured a lot of the time. Stones is injured a lot of the time. Walker's older. Rodri's got a dodgy hamstring, which is a reoccurring injury, people. Bear in mind, hamstrings are reoccurring injuries. Do not be fooled and think once Rodri's back, the hamstring is just great. You know what I'm saying? We've let Gundogan go, no replacement. We let Mahrez go, no replacement. We're letting Alvarez go, probably no replacement. And you're going to turn around again and tell me, if you lose, well, we just can't compete. We just can't compete. Well, then why are you buying these players? If you can't compete, why are you spending all this dough if you just can't compete? At that point, you may as well sit back and go, you know what? Until Pep's gone, we're just going to leave it. We're just going to leave it. We're not going to spend any cash. We'll just keep in the Champions League. We'll chill out. And then when Pep's gone, we'll go, boom, time to go and collect our trophies. Bullshit.
Follow the business. If you can't compete, stop spending money. Follow the business. Just give it up.
Bro.
Because there's no point. What is a successful season? Is it Premier League or Champions League or bust? Is it even a success if they win an FA Cup?
No. Collect a major. Win the Premier League. Win the Premier League specifically. Win it. Not we pushed City to the end. Not 247 days on top. Not we adopted a Labrador that we called Win. Not we signed the fella from Calamari with long hair. Win the league. Win the league. Yeah? You're telling us how great you are. You're telling me how much better your players are than mine. I had this debate last night on the Big Six, and I got absolutely steamed for it, cooked for it. I was saying, on my usual stuff, I think Gundogan's up there with Premier League greats. What else has I said? I had one or two that people absolutely flamed me for. And I started trolling. I said, I think when John Stone is fit and healthy, he's the best centre-back in the Premier League, blah, 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 blah. And then I started getting, well, Saliba's better than John Stone, and Saliba this, Saliba that. Bro, who is Saliba, man? Who is Saliba? Saliba's a very, very good centre-half. Very technically good. He's a lot of potential. He's doing very, very well. But don't chat to me about clear of my centre-halves who have won 4, 5, and 6 Premier Leagues each, who have, been part of this Pep system. If John Stones was that fucking bad, why has he been at the club for nearly 9 years? You know what I'm saying? How can we have so much success? How can we as a club dominate everything, yeah? Domestically, we destroy everyone, season in, season out, collect all the honours in England, win a treble, break records left, right, and centre, but none of our players are really that good. None of our players are actually that good. But, bro, I'm losing my mind. I'm getting death threats in my DMs. People calling me a racist and all sorts of mad shit just because I said John Stones, I think when he's fit and healthy, is the best centre-back in the Premier League. You know what I'm saying? And I was semi on the troll. I was semi on the wind up at that point because I know there's a lot of people in the Big Six don't like John Stones in the chat. They don't like John Stones. So I was kind of on the wind up. But don't disservice these players. Don't discredit these players. Ilkay Gundogan is with Gerard Lampard and Scholes. I'll tell you that right now for a fact. Of course he fucking is. Yes, he is. Because when it mattered most, when David Silva left, Ilkay Gundogan stepped in. Ilkay Gundogan was our top scorer in the 2021 league winning team. Ilkay Gundogan came on off the bench in a game he didn't even start and scored 2 goals to win us the league on the final day. Ilkay Gundogan captained us to our first ever Champions League in the treble. Ilkay Gundogan scored 2 goals to win us the FA Cup in the treble against our arch rivals. Ilkay Gundogan has won 6 Premier Leagues. Bro, chat to me about Ilkay Gundogan. One of the greatest of all time in this Premier League. And people go, oh, well, he doesn't even start every single game. Because he's playing for Pep. He's playing for Pep. Pep doesn't start but most players don't start every game for Pep Guardiola. But don't use that as a discredit to how important, integral Gundogan was to us and how much he won for us. Bro, Ilkay Gundogan, absolute boss footballer. The disservice and disrespect that Man City legends of the Premier League get is sad. If Ilkay Gundogan did everything he's done for Man City in a red shirt, you'd all be wanking off about him. Oh, he's unbelievable. Ilkay Gundogan. You know, the modern day this, the new version of that. He's up there with the best. But because he captains little old City, you all go, he's not that good. He's not that good. Nah, he's decent, but he's not that good. Fuck off.
You done? Are you set aside with typical Arsenal rants? I mean, I do have, while you're going on, I do actually have Arteta's spending. He's up to €759,800,000 in.
What? There you go.
759 million euro.
Okay.
Pretty much
And,
760 because it's like 800,000 on now, which into pounds is, I don't even want to do the calculations. Anyway, he spent over 700 million pound sterling, over 700 million. 1-0.
Just so we can get an idea of where the 750 million went, when you pump a lot of money into the team, you supposedly should win. What did they win with that 750 million?
A grand total of 1 Community Shield.
Okay.
And that's it.
So no Prems, no Champions League?
No Prems, no Champions League, no Carabao, no FA Cup, no Europa League. Nope.
Oh.
One FA McDonald's sponsored Community Shield. Yeah, that's it. It's for 700 million. Oh, and they adopted a dog. Broke a transfer record. I think they got another dog as well for the women's team. I'm not too sure about that one. And
okay, right.
That's about it. That's about it. 700 million. Got a couple of dogs, dinner plate, and some friends along the way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's enough. That's enough for me. And the Arsenal fans in the chat, like, oh, you keep talking about Arsenal, you keep talking about the Arsenal when it's Arsenal.
No,
keep talking about Arsenal.
London forever.
Keep talking about Arsenal because you're our closest challenger. So of course we're going to talk about you. Do you know what I mean? The same way you keep talking about us. We can't compete with this juggernaut. We can't compete with Manchester City. That's your excuse. So we're going to talk about you. We're looking at you too, going, well, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? We can't not compete. They are too good. They're Pep 115. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, to put it into perspective, right? They lost the league on what? 2 points? 2 points, wasn't it? In the end.
Something like that, yeah.
They were 2 points behind. And you would say that we haven't gotten stronger. We've arguably weakened. But let's say, for argument's sake, we're static. We've plateaued. We haven't got any better, but we haven't really got much worse, right? So we've been stagnant. We haven't done anything to improve. Arsenal, they've improved. Got Timber back from his ACL. Signed Calafiori. Yeah. You know, they're signing players. Let me see. I'm probably forgetting a couple of players.
Marino? Is it like Marino?
Marino, they're talking about signing Marino. Like, there's another player there. They made Raya permanent, although I'm not really going to count that one because he was there last season. But, they signed Calafiori. They've added a centre-back who can play left-back to what was already the best defence statistically in the country. So they've added another defender, and they want another midfielder. And they're talking about maybe trying to sign a striker as well. So they finished 2 points behind. We have stayed stagnant. Made no inroads, not gotten better, not gotten worse. They have gotten better. They have spent money. They've pumped some money in, got some new players. They have gotten better as a squad. So that 2 points should turn into a league title win because they got better and we haven't, and they almost beat us. So that has to correlate into a trophy. They have to get over the line. I do not want any more. I swear to God, if I see them like at AFTV celebrating a 0-0 draw again, I swear to God, I'm going to lose my mind. Because that's embarrassing. If they are spending near fucking 750 million and finishing 2 points off of us and celebrating draws, 0-0s.
Well, that comes the Eddie had on 22nd of September.
Yeah, what did we say last season? You want the trophy, come take it off us. Come beat us in our place. Take it off us. We're the champions, take it off us. They celebrated a 0-0 and lost by 2 points. That 0-0 was even a 1-0, they win the league. But they set up to park the bus, and they took it.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. And Rodri said this. You know what I mean? Rodri said this as well. Now I back him. Lib is the only good on the chat. Says the only Arsenal here is me. That's how bad this channel is. Nobody cares. Then why are you here, you big weirdo? Why are you here, you big freak? If you don't care. It's nearly midnight, man. We're just having a chat. It's a late night chat. What are you doing here, bro? Are you so worried about City? Are City ruining you? Are City bothering you? Is it annoying you? How you come so close to ending your 20-odd year drought? Twice, not once, but twice. You know, we talk about 115 with Man City. We don't talk enough about 247 with Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? We can all dish out numbers. 247, yeah? You were 247 days on top of the league and you bottled it, yeah? You fucking bottled it. So City, it's midnight probably where you are, and you're trying to sleep, and you're going, oh City, oh it's the big blue shark, Pep, we can't compete, Juggernaut. Oh no, that's what you're doing here, Lib, man. Get out of here, get out of here. Let me look at this super chat. People, hit the like button, man. Hit the like button, and subscribe if you're new around here. AK850, big up to you, my brother. It says a teenage superstar is like a Tauros in the safari. That's a really nice analogy. In a safari zone. Congratulations to anyone under 30 who got that reference. And Hugh, be careful what you wear in LA. They'll think you're blood with that hat. You know what? Funny story about that, bro. I was outside. I was wearing this today. I got it in LA outside some sporting shop. And me and Matisse were pretending to push and shove each other outside the shop. And there was this guy wearing a blue like bandana around his head. And he starts throwing up gang signs at me going, blue gang, blue gang, blue gang. So I was like, all right, get me in the fucking taxi now. Get me out of here. I ain't part of no gang. That's not how I roll. Sorry, sir, if I offended you. You just you know, I didn't mean to cause any offense. So I didn't wear the hat for the rest of the trip. Essentially, I didn't wear the hat for the rest of the trip because you know, in a country where guns are legal, I ain't fucking about. I like streaming. I like my channel. I like Dublin. I like being here, and I wanted to make it back.
You always have some stories when you've come back from America. You know, there's twice now you've been, and twice you've had some great stories.
Crazy place, but it's a great place. But you have to show respect to the place. You know what I'm saying? You can't fuck around too much in America, but it's a great place, just a crazy place. But yeah, big up to you, AK, my brother. Appreciate your super chat, man. This hat will only be worn in Europe, so it's red as well. I'm not mad about red. I just like the way it fits. You know what I'm saying? It's like the way it fits, and my hair is a bit shit today. So, listen, hit the like button, man. We're gonna talk about Joao Felix, man. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Appreciate the super chats and the likes and that. You guys will hear me clear, Joe? Yeah.
Yep.
Just double checking. Right, Joao Felix. Where is my tweet, man? City Extra. A lot of tweeting going on here. And look, either way, we've been offered cash and Joao Felix from Atletico Madrid. Huh? Yeah, on loan. From Atletico. They paid 110 million euro for Felix. They kind of want rid of him. You know, he's been at Chelsea, he's been at Barca, he's been at Atletico in the last couple of years. Probably not a great look for him. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about Joao Felix, Joe? It's not the first time we've been linked with him either.
How do I feel? He's a dusty player, man. A dusty player, man. No. How many more chances does this guy need to have of loan spell at, another top club for people to realise he's just not that good? It's just plain and simple. He's just not that good. The Atletico Madrid jumped the gun. They were first in line to, trigger his release clause because he was, at the time he was very highly rated. But again, this is another theme that I constantly hammer home about young players, even young managers. Remember months ago, we're talking about Xavi Alonso and, like players like Joao Neves. I'm going, Mike Calm, good player, but do it again. You know what I mean? Season 2. I ain't signing a player after one season. I ain't, putting all my eggs in one basket after one good season. I need you to do it again. You know, there was none of that for Joao Felix. He had a lot of hype around him and a big release clause. You know, one good season at Benfica, and everybody was going, wow. And I can't help but feel he also went to the wrong club. You know, because at Benfica, he was, you know, he had high technical ability. That was where all of his potential came from. He's a very technically sound player. What is Atletico Madrid known for? Parking the bus and long ball, crossing. You know, he's not really, it's not his game. It was just kind of a mismatch. So then it just didn't work out. He went to Chelsea, had a pretty unsuccessful. It was a very unsuccessful loan spell. They didn't even think twice about getting him back. I remember, I think he got sent off in one of his first games, straight red card. Didn't do anything for Chelsea. Goes to Barcelona, another club in Spain. You're thinking attacking football, maybe he can do something there. Barcelona, I don't even think thought twice about trying to get him back. They moved on. They want Dani Olmo, Nico Williams. They didn't even think twice. They're like, right, we'll move on to our next targets. We didn't like what he did here. Why would I want this guy? His stock has dropped massively. He's had injuries. He's not developed into the player that people thought he might do. He's just dusty player, man. I don't want him.
I think Pep could get something out of him. I think we could get something out of Felix under Pep. You know, he probably has the ability in there to play for Pep Guardiola, maybe that false nine type of thing. I don't know, but is he worth taking money off the package that we're getting for Alvarez? No. I know I spoke a lot about putting pressure on our young players, but if you're telling me Felix or Bob or Felix or Savio, Felix or Doku, I'm taking all of our current boys over Felix right now. You know, and we'd have to pay some of his wages too. I don't know how much, maybe the whole thing, maybe half, depends how they negotiate. I think I'd rather play Savio. You know, we've just brought Savio in. I'd rather give him those minutes, Bob too. So it's not. I'd rather take money, man. If this city extra tweet is what we need to go off. It sounds like we're getting a 90 million euro package for Alvarez. I take that. You can keep Felix, mate. You can keep Felix. It ain't for me. It ain't for me, Joe. The Felix thing.
Just pass on it and go. Just put up or shut up, because I mean, it boils down to Felix comes in. He takes minutes off Oscar Bob. No, I have more faith in Oscar Bob in terms of performance and output than I do in Joao Felix. I just do. Same thing with Savio. Savio was pretty sure La Liga team of the season. He's one of the best players in La Liga last season. And Joao Felix would come in and compete with him for minutes after we just signed him. No. It's just, it doesn't make sense. He's been in the Premier League before and it didn't work. I don't care if it's Chelsea and they were dysfunctional. You know, Chelsea are dysfunctional. Look at Cole Palmer. Don't matter how dysfunctional Chelsea are. Good players are good players. Like, they will still shine through. He didn't. Like, it just didn't work. Like, where is his best position? Is it off the left? Is it up front? Is it in the 10? Is it a false 9? What's he good at? What does he do? Like, just take. It's not worth, because how much money would that then take off? 20? 30? Like, how much money does it realistically take off? Like, it's not worth taking even 20 million off and taking 70 instead of 90 million euros to get Joao Felix, even if it's just on the loan and we don't have to buy him. Still not worth it.
Nah, it's not worth it for me. And there's also the mitigating factor that I'm expecting a big season from Jack Grealish. I'm expecting a big season from Jack Grealish. We're actually going to record a video tomorrow. Did any of you put a W in the chat if you watched our Savio video that came out the other day? Put a W in the chat. I want to know what you guys thought of that. We're going to record that style video for Jack Grealish tomorrow. I'm expecting a big one from him this season. You know, he's put his head down. He looks in great shape. So we just don't need him. We just don't need him. If we're to get anybody in the attacking area of the pitch, I'd rather it be like a Dani Olmo or someone like that. I'm not saying specifically him, but someone like that. So just don't need him. Put your cash up front, man. Put your cash up front, and you can have Alvarez. So listen, there's not much to really say on Felix. He's just not for me. Big up Eds Mancunian Therapy. Big up Briggsy. Big up Delor. You guys watch the video, man. It's a great video. Joe did a great job on the edit on that. So we're gonna make another one of them, record it tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be out this week on Jack Grealish, because I want a big season from him. So we're gonna talk about that. Right, that's kind of it, I suppose. That's kind of it. We talked about Alvarez, talked a bit about Arsenal, talked about Felix, the young players. Yeah, that's kind of really it for tonight. Big up to all of you who tuned in. It's literally just hit midnight. I know it's late. It's a bank holiday here in Ireland, so it's been a good weekend. Lots of content to come this week. Like I said, we're going to record that video about Grealish, a highly edited one, a really cool one. So please do show love to those videos when they come out, because Joe works really hard on the edit. More late night chats this week. Said I'll try and get Saeed for a Derby preview, the Community Shield preview maybe, and I'll probably do a watch along for that game. Do you have any number on your shirt? No. I bought the new third shirt yesterday though, and I got Savinho 26 on the back. I'm investing in the stocks early. Got Savinho on that red shirt, so when that arrives,
they teased the third one as well today, didn't they?
They did. They tickled my balls.
The old school one.
Yeah, man. Tickling my balls. I'm gonna buy that too. Probably getting no name on that though, because it's just a beautiful shirt. You know what I mean? So, I think that's gonna break records. That new. You said it's a away shirt. Is it the second shirt?
I don't know whether that's away or whether it's the third. I can't remember which way around the red in that one is. I don't know. All I know is that we've got 4, and the Noel Gallagher one is horrible because I've seen the potential leaks and it looks disgusting.
Yeah, I always buy them all anyway. I don't think I've not bought a City shirt for 15 years. Genuinely, I think I've got every shirt for the last 15 years, which takes me back to being like 10 years old. So I buy them all, and I'll show them to you guys when they. I'll show you my Savinho one when it arrives. But yeah, listen, big up to all of you, man. If you're watching on playback, hit the like button, leave all your thoughts down below in the comments. Subscribe if you're new around here, and if you want more content, please do go and watch the Savio video we made. Very proud of it, and we want to make more and more and more of those kind of produced videos. So show love to that, please. We massively appreciate it. Right, enjoy your nights. Have a good week, people. We'll probably see you tomorrow or Wednesday for another stream. If not, we'll have something out tomorrow. And yeah, good night and God bless. Wrap her up, Joe.
Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you